YouTube is hard. We all know that fact. The only video in the past that has gotten me any views was YouTube is hard. So that makes me want to go back to the topic and hash it out even more because I want to get some views. Why wouldn't I? Why am I here on YouTube if I don't want to get views? That's a good question in the first place. So people say that you should be niching down to reach people and create content. Sure, I get that. But I'm here to learn about this craft and art of talking to the camera and public speaking and making videos and making content, making all of that stuff because somehow I feel pulled towards that. But it's not easy. It's really difficult to get stuff done, and especially if you don't have a niche or a said topic that you're going to talk about, which for some people might come easy, but for me it's super difficult. If you're not a business, you're doing this just for fun, you put yourself in a box and keep creating this hyper-fixated content without it being your true passion that you would do anyways, I think it's not worthwhile. Niching down helps you to get the reach and it might drive business, but if you don't have a business behind all of this, what's the purpose? If you want to grow an audience that is interested in the niche, they might come for you. But if they come for that niche and you don't want to be that niche, how are you going to break out of that? Yesterday, I published a new video on my podcast channel, the ToniTalksDev, that is about technology and tech and people in tech and stuff like that, because this is related to my work and it's kind of like a personal brand in that context. And when I was uploading the video, YouTube informed me that it was a year and a day ago when I uploaded the first video for that channel. And now I was uploading the 8th episode for the podcast and I had accumulated 215 followers at that point, which is crazy to me. How is that even possible? I've been working on mostly podcasts because I feel like that's a format that I can maintain without putting too much effort and time into it, because after all, I'm working a day job, so I don't have hours and hours to pour into this hobby all the time. So I wanted to do something that I can do every now and then and not be bothered by the preparations and writing and editing and all that kind of stuff. So podcasts worked quite nicely for me on that sense. On that channel, I've also experimented with conference videos or a conference video. I have one trip documented to Belgium, this closure conference, which is related to the niche that the channel is about, which is technology and development and people in that niche. Now, I kind of have a clear goal what to do, but when I'm looking at this channel, things are not as clear. This is more like my personal exploration in what I've been doing, what I'm about to do, and that kind of stuff. So for example, the last year has been about the process, moving to Panama. And now that I'm here, there's no progress to document, which feels empty to me because that was kind of the initial idea what this channel was going to be about. I could have gone with all the touristic stuff and help people navigate the immigration and document that. But overall, it was super simple. I just went to lawyers, I paid them money, they called me, let's go to the immigration office, here's your card, and that's it. There's nothing else to it. The official part was fairly simple, and the rest of it is kind of basic stuff that you do in Finland or in other places. You call to realtors, you go look for apartments, you get an apartment, and that's kind of it. And I already showed you that. So what's there to show anymore? So as I'm processing this, it's kind of I'm taking sabbatical from the channel, resetting my expectations, resetting what I'm going to do, and trying to find my new horizon, where to aim next, instead of trying to hold on to the thought that was to process the past year. I will be traveling at some point, but for now, I'm just kind of chilling, getting settled, enjoying the weather, enjoying the apartment, going to the gym, getting my workouts done, because that's super important to me at the moment. Since before I started that process, I was glued to the computer. I was working on a laptop. I was doing all my hobbies at a laptop. I was studying on a laptop. My whole life was just math, coding, content, YouTube, whatever. And it was not healthy. And why I'm into this CrossFit so much right now is that it kind of gave me an escape hatch and gave me something else to think about and get me moving physically. And that's been a major part in my life in the past 2.5 years, and it will continue to be. So instead of forcing myself to do Panama living tricks or whatever, I'm probably going to diverge a bit towards the fitness stuff, because that's what I do on my free time, and that's where my mind goes. Like, I want to get better at it. I want to get fitter. I like the benefits of the physical exercise that I get. I feel better, my brain works better. I don't feel like going drinking and partying or anything like that. I feel like this is a healthy way of living, and I want to keep on exploring that. And maybe some point get competitive in it, because I don't know, I just like a challenge. Of course, I will not go too far and become too crazy about it. I hope, at least. No promises, no promises. I don't know where that leaves us here on this channel, but if you followed me on this channel and on Instagram, you've probably already noticed that I'm just bouncing on different ideas between CrossFit, music, IT stuff, and just like chilling, reading, writing. Like, my mind kind of goes to all of these things at the same time. I cannot really stay still focused on one thing, so I keep exploring what is happening. And let's be honest here, I'm not a young person anymore. I'm 36. I want to get this meat back into shape so I'm better equipped for the future. Get my muscles in check, get my fitness in check, so I can keep on living healthier and be able to like function throughout the later years. But that's what's happening. That's what I'm doing. That's where this is going. Maybe, I don't know. Either way, I might be going to Brazil in a few months, but that's not quite sure yet. So I'll keep you updated on that one. But that's pretty much everything that I had for you today. I just wanted to say hi, show some signs of life. But anywho, thank you for showing up. See you next time. Ciao.